Today on Public Eye News, a water main break in Escanaba and more communities ban the sale of marijuana in Michigan.
Ross Ray has our weather forecast with warm conditions ahead, and Caleb Rydell takes a look at NMU Sports. Hi, I'm Mason Walls.
And I'm Caleb Rydell. Welcome to Public Eye News. The Light at the Inn has been extending their hours the last few days to keep their guests warmer for longer. Shelter coordinator Peggy Gatra says, quote, "I don't want to let these people go out where they're in a position to get frostbite and frozen. One of our ladies is a little elder, and end quote. For guests like Ann Drayle, they'll usually spend their days seeking shelter at the local businesses in the area. Drayle has been using extra hours to help prepare meals for other guests who stay. Spending more time at the shelter helps her get to know the staff better." Yesterday night, at the side of Calumet's Public Works building, was damaged. Street Superintendent Mark Klein says the remains of the abandoned church on the 3300 block of 7th Street apparently collapsed overnight in negative-degree temperatures, hitting a wall of the village building. The church burned in a fire last June. This was a problem for the Public Works Department for the village. It is slowed this winter by dated snow removal equipment.
No injuries were reported from a garage fire that occurred at 1209 Ludington Street late last night. Escanaba Public Safety responded to the fire that involved a vehicle and storage shed located closely to other structures. Officers were able to quickly control the fire, and damage did not extend beyond the vehicle and shed. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. And 1 million gallons of water was lost in Escanaba yesterday when a water main broke. The break occurred at 1st Avenue North and Ludington Street, and roads were closed in a 3-block radius while crews worked towards a solution. Residents and businesses have been cleared to begin using their water again as normal. According to officials, the water is safe to drink and there is no boil advisory, but people should expect to see possibly cloudy water with some sediment present at this time.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is seeking to intervene in a lawsuit to defend the federal health care law after a judge declared it unconstitutional. The Democrat announced yesterday her motion to intervene. Joining her were 3 other Democrat attorney generals, Phil Weiser of Colorado, Aaron Ford of Nevada, and Thomas Miller of Iowa. The federal judge in Texas last month declared that the Affordable Care Act was to be unconstitutional, but its provisions remain in effect while the case is appealed. More than 250 Michigan communities have banned marijuana businesses just 2 months after the state became the first in the Midwest to legalize the drug for recreational use. Josh Hovey is the spokesman for the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. He believes that communities are being cautious due to legal concerns, while others are following their values of their community. One of the lawyers who is involved in the marijuana legalization campaign is named Barton Morris. He believes attitudes towards marijuana will change over time. Many of the state's biggest cities, include Detroit and Lansing, haven't passed any restrictions. After the break, we'll have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Coming up this week on High School Bowl, we wrap up our first round with 2 more teams left to send to the Cerebral 16. Who will they be? Well, in the first game, it's Manistee versus Superior Central. Hi, I'm Jim Koski, and then in our second game, Park River Harris returns to take on West Iron County. Who are the 2 final teams heading to the next round? You will find out this week on High School Bowl.
Welcome back. The bitter debate over exemptions to childhood vaccinations has returned as Pacific Northwest officials scramble to contain an outbreak of measles. There are 43 confirmed cases in Washington and Oregon of the extremely contagious virus. The virus was once eradicated in the U.S. in the year 2000 due to immunizations, but there are more than a dozen more suspected cases. There have been numerous studies that prove vaccines do not cause autism, which is the main reason parents opt out of having their children vaccinated. Last year, there were 17 outbreaks and 350 total cases in the United States. And the 2020 election is still more than a year away, but the political race to the White House is already heating up, with another Democrat throwing his hat in the ring. Tom Hansen reports.
New Jersey Senator Cory Booker announced his campaign for president Friday morning, the first day of Black History Month.
Together, America, We will rise. I'm Cory Booker, and I'm running for President of the United States of America.
The 49-year-old senator has long been seen as a potential Democratic presidential candidate.
The cancer, in many ways, in our country right now is a caustic type of politics that wants to pit us against each other and create the delusion of separateness. We need leaders that are going to put that indivisible back in this one nation under God.
Booker joins a historically diverse and already crowded field of Democrats, including California Senator Kamala Harris, who launched her campaign last week. This brings the total number of official candidates to 5. 3 others have formed exploratory committees. Over at the White House, presidential counselor Kellyanne Conway weighed in.
I imagine that the crowded Democratic field of presidential aspirants will be attacking each other's records or lack thereof, so we'll be sitting back with copious bowls of popcorn watching that.
And more names could potentially be added to the list of 2020 presidential candidates, including former Vice President Joe Biden, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, and former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
The bitter cold that gripped the Midwest forced commuters to bundle up like polar explorers. By early next week, many of those same people might be able to finally get by with wearing a light jacket. Just days after the Arctic conditions, the region will seemingly swing into another season with temperatures climbing up by as much as 80 degrees, according to forecasters. Experts say the rapid thaw is unexpected and could create problems of its own, causing bursting pipes, flooding rivers, and crumbling roads. The warm air continues to move east through many places in the northeast. Remain painfully cold today. In Illinois, at least 144 people visited a hospital emergency room for cold-related injuries over 2 days. Most of the injuries were hypothermia or frostbite. The deep freeze will soon come to a close. Tomorrow, Saturday, marks the end of a 60-day notice the U.S. gave Russia to come up with compliance with a Cold War-era nuclear arms treaty. Today, the Trump administration announced that it hasn't happened and the U.S. will withdraw from the treaty. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
U.S. will withdraw from a key Cold War nuclear treaty effective in October.
If Russia does not return to full and verifiable compliance with the treaty within this 6-month period, by verifiably destroying its INF-violating missiles, their launchers, and associated equipment, the treaty will terminate.
The U.S. and Russia signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty in 1987, banning nuclear weapons capable of destroying Europe within minutes. The U.S. claims Russia has been building and testing intermediate-range missiles in violation of the treaty since 2014.
Russia has jeopardized the United States' security interest, and we can no longer be restricted by the treaty while Russia shamelessly violates it.
Russia denies the claims and says the U.S. has been looking for a reason to withdraw from the treaty.
A senior administration official says Russia will be to blame if there's a new nuclear arms race, and the 6-month notice gives them one final chance.
We have more money than anybody else by far. We'll build it up until they come to their senses. When they do, then we'll all be smart and we'll all stop.
NATO says it fully supports America's plan to withdraw from the treaty.
Hard to detect, they're mobile, they are nuclear capable, they can reach European cities. And therefore, this is something which is of great concern.
Protesters in Germany showed their concern about a potential new arms race with Europe caught in the crossfire. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.